What's going on, YouTube? It's Ranger Not Available, or Aiden. And today, I think I'm going to give you... Goodness. Today, I think I'm going to give you a sort of synopsis of one of the worst experiences of my life that turned into my hobby, I guess. It's not good where it started, but where it ends is honestly really poetic, at least I think, and really it's a very, very good story. Let's see, when was it? 2018, I think. I think it was 2018. Summertime, to set not necessarily the mood, but the time frame. I'm 18 now, and that would have been 8 years ago, so I would have been 10 during the story. At least during the first act. So when I was 10, there was a lot of things I enjoyed doing, but one of the things I enjoyed doing the most during summertime was riding my bike. And I'd often do it with my brother and my grandpa. We used to ride for a couple miles every couple days, and it was a lot of fun. I want to say it was sometime in August, so later in the summer, but it also could have been early summer. I really don't remember the time because it was a really scary experience. So I've moved a grand total of 4 times, 3 times within the same town, and once outside of town. My first house was with my grandparents. My second house was owned by my grandparents, but my mom moved in after she finished kind of college. She's a nurse, so it was complicated. I think she had finished college to be a nurse, but I don't think she had gotten her degree yet. So what we were doing is we were living there for a long time. That's where we got, I think, 2 of our first dogs and our cat. But we lived there, I'd say, 4 or 5 years at least, maybe 6 years, I don't really remember. But we had moved out, I think, in 2016. So 2 years before the events of the story. My uncle had gotten out of prison, and he had moved into our old house. My uncle's a very good man. After his wife had died, he had begun abusing drugs. Really bad stuff, too. Like, I believe he was arrested and, like, put in jail because of meth. So, not good stuff. But he was a good man. He was trying his best to recover after prison, and he didn't do any hard drugs after that, but he was still drinking and he was still smoking. And one day on that bike ride, we passed by our old house and said, hey, wonder if our uncle's home. And he was passed out in his car on the side of the road, right in front of his house, or our old house, but his house. And thankfully, my grandpa was there. And I don't remember if he had taken us back and then taken my uncle up to the hospital himself, or if he had called an ambulance. But like, my uncle was not just passed out, but like, he had alcohol poisoning. It was pretty bad. But we were at the hospital, or like, eventually they got to the hospital. My uncle did, and I think my mom was working that night, so we were with my grandparents. Technically, we call him Uncle Jerry, but he's not technically like my direct uncle. He is, I think, like my great uncle or something. He's my grandma's brother. And obviously, because my mom wasn't working and my dad basically left by that point, we went up there. We went up to the hospital, and we were there for, I want to say, 2 to 3 hours, maybe longer, maybe shorter. I really don't know. It was a long time ago, but we were eventually able to go see him after he was stabilized. And he was in pretty rough shape, but he apologized. He said, I never wanted you to see me like this. And I believed him, because, I mean, I didn't want to see him passed out drunk or in a hospital bed because of it, you know? And this is where the story actually takes a good turn. After that night, when he eventually got back home, he started going to AA. And I think because we were the ones who found him, specifically because it was us, two very little kids, and my grandpa, because we found him, it was like a switch had flipped in his brain. Like, I never want this to happen again. Like, not just, oh, I don't want to do this again. Like, I will not do this ever again. I'm not going to drink anymore. And he started going to AA meetings, and he started like recovering, and he kept recovering. And then he made it a year, and then another year. And as of this year, he has been 8 years sober from alcohol. And it's just one of those stories that is very important to my life. Another really good thing, like I said, he was smoking. He was still smoking during that time, but that's not something that like really inebriates you most of the time. Like, nicotine's still bad for you. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not a smoker. I don't want to be a smoker, but nicotine is still bad for you. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not something like alcohol, which is like an instant, like, it like inebriates you, like fully inebriates you. It doesn't do that. But I think it's been a year now where he hasn't smoked anymore. He doesn't smoke anymore. He's been off of cigarettes for a long time, and he seems to be doing well. Like, his cough has gotten worse, but I mean, that's kind of a good sign. It means his body's trying to catch up and get all the stupid crap out of his lungs, you know? But that's not even where the story ends. I told you that this was one of the most traumatic stories of my life, and it led into my hobby. Well, I think it was, when did I do it? I think it was my 8th grade summer, the summer after 8th grade year. So I would have been coming in as a freshman, I think, where I got an electric guitar body from my shop class. And over the summer, my uncle and I built it. He was a guitarist and he knew enough about them to work on them and build them. And we built that guitar from the ground up. And he helped me route it out so it wasn't super heavy for me. He helped me like with all the wiring originally. Now I think I could probably do even better, like crazy wiring than he can, but that guitar changed everything about my life. And that wouldn't have happened if we didn't find him, probably at least. Like, he probably would have just sat there and cooked in his car. Like, it was hot out. It was summer. So if he had stayed in that car for a long time, like, who knows how much damage would have been done to him. He could have died. And he would have never been able to build that guitar with me, which means I would have had to do it on my own, and I don't know if I would have had the willpower then to do it on my own. But because he helped me along and helped me build that guitar, I have built so many since then. And it all came full circle just a couple of weeks ago, months ago, I don't know at this point, but he asked for a guitar about 2 years ago. And I want to say about 2 months ago is when I finished it. And I could tell in that moment, like, so much of our lives since then has been intertwined. And I don't want to say he cried, but he almost certainly did. Not in front of us, but I'm guessing he probably did. He was so patient with me. Like, he waited 2 full years for a guitar that I thought would only take maybe a couple months. Like, I had to rebuild the body. I had to redo the paint several times. It was so much work, but in the end, even if it did kind of end up scarred, scars fade and the wounds heal and yada, yada, yada. Not all stories have a bad ending, even some of the most traumatic ones. So again, like, I don't know how to end this, but I guess if you need words of encouragement, never give up. Keep trying, keep going, keep pushing your boundaries, keep going to new places, better places. Keep moving forward, I guess. It's a story I've never really told anybody. Like, even my friends have never seen it or anything like that. Speaking of which, I think I'll tell in our next episode. Until next time, I'm Ranger Not Available, and of course my name is Aiden. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace and love, and goodbye.